I got my start as a writer really very young by essentially putting my faith in writing. I think a lot of times we think that people are writers once they're publishing or once you've heard of them or they've had some big success, and that's not really the case. The way one starts writing is by writing, and by apprenticing oneself to the craft of literature. And so I did that. I did that as a kid when I started reading books and writing in my little diary. And then I did it as a college student when I became more serious about being a writer and started to really look at some of the greats and how they wrote and how they constructed their scenes and their sentences, and started to try to do that very seriously myself. And then, throughout my adult life, in my 20s, really going through such a process of trying to figure out who I was and really having to test my faith in myself as a writer. It's a really hard thing to believe in yourself when you're an artist of any kind, because all of the voices around us say, when are you going to get a real job? And I think to be a writer, you have to say, well, my real job is my writing. And that's a really key shift, that if that doesn't happen inside of you, you're not going to ever succeed as a writer. And so I've tried to always, of course I care about my work being published, of course I wanted to win awards or grants or residencies, but I always tried to really measure my success by my ability to answer yes to the question of, was I really giving everything I could to my writing? Was I really doing the work it takes? And so that's how I got my start, by writing. In a practical way, what started to happen over the years is early on, I decided not to focus so much on publication. I did send some things out and try to get published, but I really tried to first apply for things that would actually nurture my writing. So I applied to this thing called a residency. There are different organizations that sponsor writers. They'll say, come live in our house or cabin or whatever for 2 weeks or a month or 3 months or whatever it is, and we'll feed you and essentially give you time to write for that period of time. And those things were really important to me early on, to just have that time to say, for this month, my job is to write. And so I did that, and then slowly started to apply for other things, grants and fellowships, and then started to send my work out.